Hello mathematicians. Today we will be looking at lesson 6-11, number models for two-step number stories. So sometimes when we solve number stories that we have to create number models for and equations we have to solve, it's a little tricky because there's more than one step. Sometimes there's two steps, but if you know your order of operations and you follow along each step, you'll be able to solve the problem. So let's take a look at an everyday math problem. I have it highlighted right here for you. So let's read it together. Andrew divided 12 dinner rolls among 4 baskets. Then he added 6 more rolls to each basket. What was the total number of rolls in each basket? So if I focus on what this problem is asking me to solve, I notice that I have to solve what was the total number of rolls in each basket. And it also wants me to give the letter for the equation and what it represents. It also wants me to create a number model with the letter, and finally solve the answer and create a summary number model with the answer instead of the letter. So let's start with what we know first. So for the first step, what I'm noticing is that he divided 12 dinner rolls among 4 baskets. So we want to start there. We don't want to confuse ourselves. So I'm going to bring myself to the whiteboard that I have here, and we're going to start with that step. Let me remind you, before we do anything, we need to create a letter. So what I'm looking for is the total number of rolls in each basket. So let's say that rolls stands for R, just because it starts with an R. Simple as that. So there's my letter. But now I need to create a number model with this letter. So the first step, if I remind you, if you read it at the top actually, Andrew divided 12 dinner rolls among 4 baskets. So that's what I'm going to start with. If I'm sharing or I'm dividing, that's easy. It's division. So I'm going to start with 12 divided by 4. But I know right off the bat that this has to be the first step in my equation. So I want to put parentheses around it just because of order of operations. You always solve what's in the parentheses first. It's the most important. So since this is the first step, I got to put my parentheses around it. I want to solve this first. But then if I go back to the problem, it says, then Andrew added 6 more rolls, right up here, 6 more rolls to each basket. So when I see the word more, that reminds me of an extra group adding. So I'm adding an extra group. So I'm going to add that to my whiteboard. 12 divided by 4, I'm going to add 6. This is my last group of rolls. But I'm trying to figure out what the answer is, and I don't know the answer. So, of course, let's go back to my letter. I'm going to put R. R means what I do not know and what I need to find out. So looking at this right now, I'm just thinking about what kind of problem this is. To me, this looks like a change problem because I'm starting off, let me demonstrate it for you in a picture. I'm starting off with 12 divided by 4. That's what it said first. That's the first part. Then it says I need to change because I'm adding one more group. And then finally, I need to find my answer. I don't know what the change is yet, or the end. I need to solve that first. There we go. And of course, over here must be the start, because this is a start and end change problem. So there's my visual for you. I started with 12 divided by 4. I added 6 rolls, and now I'm trying to figure it out. So the way I solve an equation like this is you have to start with what's in the parentheses. So I'll do this first. Sometimes I like to put arrows to help me. So I start with what's in the parentheses. 12 divided by 4 is, what times 4 equals 12? I know that 3 times 4 equals 12. So there we go. But now, of course, I have to bring down my plus 6. I can't forget about that second step. As you can see, we have the first step, and then we have the second step. The start, the change, and we're still trying to find the end. So if I now take my first part, 3, add it to the second part, 3 plus 6, I get 9 rolls. I was able to solve this with a 2-step number model, a start and end display to figure out how many rolls Andrew had in each basket. So the summary number model should be 12 divided by 4 plus 6 equals, you got it, 9. There's my summary number model. And that has been number models for 2-step number stories. All you got to do is read the question carefully, figure out what the first part of the number model is, put it in the equation, then figure out what the second part of the number model is, and then you can find your answer. You can also use total, part, start, change, end, quantity, quantity difference to help you show your problems.